Hi friends! Guess what? We're on a field trip just like I promised, and you're not gonna believe where we're going today. Hang tight! Okay, here we are. I'm going up to the front door. Let me flip the camera around. Hi!
Come on in.
Look where we are! We're at the Scarlet house!
Come on, you guys.
Scarlet and all the doggies!
This is Scarlet.
Here's Scarlet.
She says, what's going
And
on?
come on. And say hi to Tanya!
Hi.
Okay, kids, we are gonna have some fun today. Hang on.
Okay. And I think it's something home. Country house, country home. I'm not sure.
I love the bricks in the house. Look at those.
Yeah, they're pretty dense when you do it over one.
And that's, oh my gosh, you're a crazy woman. Over one. Okay.
Well, it's on a pretty even weave. So
Oh,
it's easy.
bittersweet.
Yeah, bittersweet.
Ah,
Not real, but
it's bittersweet season somewhere in the world,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
in Arizona.
yeah.
Okay, so what's this wall right here?
It's just a sample wall.
Oh.
That's Ann Rag, which I was lucky enough to see the antique at the Charleston Museum. It's just a fabulous sampler. It's one of my favorites. Of course, I say that like
They're all your
they're all my
favorites.
favorites. Yeah.
I'm really loving these rainbow alphabets right now, like you have in Elizabeth Hunter.
I know. I kind
That's
of
all.
like those too.
Yeah.
Because if you start going, you kind of once you get a few done, then you don't have to thread. You know, you can kind of
Right.
skip around.
Right. And you can like do a border, you know, if it's a border
Sure.
color. And this is Charlotte Clayton.
I stitched that. That one took me a while because that was on 45 count, and I kind of got stalled after the giant cats at the bottom, and I put it away for a while, and then I just thought I have to finish this because it's really one of my favorites. No lie there. That one really
No
is.
lie. It's so beautiful.
Yep.
And then,
Just a little.
oh, just a
fall.
little fall.
Not
Oh,
Forgotten
how
Farm.
cute. Oh, I love the little pumpkin heads.
I know. I like her quirky little pumpkins too.
Yeah.
There's another one over on the coffee table. That's pumpkin queens.
Which one?
Right here on the.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cute.
Halloween queen.
I
That's the
love your
pumpkin
little
queen.
displays.
Oh, you know,
Look
it's
how
all about
fun.
the galvanized.
Oh, here we go.
That's a Brenda Gervais.
I feel like there's like little treasures. How cute for the, I love a velvet pumpkin. I have a collection.
Yes, I am slightly obsessed with them too.
I know.
Linda Danielson actually
Is
started
she?
that. No, she started that. And I actually bought her a pink velvet pumpkin.
Oh my gosh, look at that wall.
The wall.
That's amazing. Now these are combination your designs and
No.
other, or just other
No,
designs?
these are just various samplers that I have stitched over the years. I think I started really getting into stitching samplers heavy duty in 2005. This was kind of the start.
Okay, here we go.
Other than that one I did over there, that was the one that I started with first.
Was that sampler company, Brenda Keys?
Yep, my all-time favorite designer.
She is.
Yeah.
She has some beautiful, beautiful samplers.
But actually, I've told people this, and this is the truth. This is probably my all-time favorite sampler of everything I've ever done. It's the one I tell Teresa Vanette that this is the one that I wish that I had reproduced. I love the verse, I love everything about it.
What's the name of it again?
Sarah Woodham.
Sarah Woodham, yeah. I've seen several people.
And don't look too
stitching it.
close, because there's a mistake.
They just look so much different
Oh, for sure.
than they do on the cover of a chart. Whose is this? Look at that.
Oh,
border.
that's another favorite. Okay, I can't lie.
They're all your
They
favorite.
are. That is the plantation sampler. One day I was at the attic and Jean has actually stitched that, I think, on 32 count. And the colors that she used, the called for colors, which the green was a little bit more grass green, and the pinks, the salmon color that I used was really more pink. And I just decided to stitch it on 45 count and change all the colors to the colors that I wanted to stitch it with, and that's what I came up with.
I love it. That's one of the things I really love about having had the attic in our backyard all these years is little teeny linen.
Oh, I know.
Like we
Yeah.
just like, yeah, that's normal. That's normal, 46, 56,
Yep, that's
85
for sure.
count linen. Sure, yeah.
Well, this is on 5260, and I
Beautiful.
I thought I was gonna go blind stitching this one. But I always wanted to stitch a sampler with the Lord's Prayer, and this was just, the minute I saw it, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So I actually started it at the bottom, like I normally do. And this was, well, you know, it wasn't that bad. But once I got up into here and of course up into the
Yeah.
smaller alphabet, I thought, oh my God. I think it
Is
took
that
me-
an over one alphabet?
No.
Oh, it's just
The
a
only
little.
over one is the 1787 or 97 or whatever the date is.
Oh, wow.
See, I can't read it without my glasses.
I know, I'm filming without my glasses. I hope it's not blurry. Wow. I saw that. It was in a magazine, yeah?
Yes, it's Vicky's Eleanor Whitehouse. It was in SANQ.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
I have this chart. I love this so much. Why don't I
Me
stitch
too.
it?
Do that.
Wow. This is Sampler Company.
Yes.
In the Keys.
Yep.
I think I have this one.
Yep. I can't remember the name of it. That's the problem. I get requests for what's that? What's the name of that sampler?
I can't remember.
don't know.
But I saw it at the shop.
I generally can remember who the designer is, but
Yeah.
really the
Name of the chart.
name of it. Yeah.
Oh, this is that really fun one by Carriage House, I think.
Yes. And I can't remember what the name of that one is either.
The song they sang. The great thing about needlework, though, there's no cross stitch police. They're not
Well,
gonna
they have
come.
not shown up here yet.
Right?
So that's a good thing.
Well, if they haven't been to your house, then they're not coming to mine. I love this sampler.
I know, me too. I really like it.
Okay, where do you find time to stitch samplers you love in addition to samplers you're designing?
Well, the majority of these on the wall were all stitched before I started designing. So that was pretty easy. And I'm a one at
Yeah.
a time stitcher. Or
Really?
I used to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're so
Yeah.
disciplined.
No, I used to finish everything before I started another thing. But then I've had some bad influences. I'm not mentioning names, but it happens. But I just, you know, every once in a while I have to give myself a little bit of a break because it's just, otherwise it's just my job. And
Right.
I have a lot of joy in, you know, what other people design too, so.
Well, it's just wonderful to see the talent that, you know, your talent and other designers. Who's that? Look at that house. Cute.
That is, actually, it's called the Governor's Palace, or is that the Governor's Place?
No, the
Yeah.
Governor's Palace.
That's in Williamsburg, I believe. And I'm trying to think. Now that's one I can't remember. These two were both designed by the same person.
same person?
I want to
This
say
one and this one?
not Homespun Sampler.
Homespun Elegance?
No.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, it might. Don't count on it.
And Kathy Barrick.
That was the very first carriage house I ever stitched.
Really?
Mhm.
Isn't it funny how we remember our
I
life,
know.
what was going on in our lives
yeah.
and what we were doing
I
when we
can't tell you what I
stitched
had to
samplers?
eat
Right?
last night at all, but I can tell you when I stitched something.
Oh, wow. This is another Brenda Keys, yeah?
Yes, yes. I think it's the country house.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what's peculiar to me, is this piece, this is an original, well, I shouldn't say original, but it's a piece of metal roof that I had in my stash for a long time, you know. When you see a piece, you know how it is, you gotta buy it.
Mhm.
And I just saved that one for just the absolute perfect piece, so.
Wow. That's a scarlet letter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
A
Look at that
lot
little
of
over
work.
one horse in the corner.
yeah.
Wow. And then these are the houses of Hawker and Hollow. I'm so impressed you did both, the village and the houses.
I did houses first. 2005 was when I did that. Well, actually, I did them in the same year, which I'm surprised.
Ah.
Yeah, I did, because I stitched the other one in 2005 as well.
Wow.
But
Oh, this is pretty. Look
Rebecca
at that
Robinson.
border. Who's the designer?
That's a scarlet letter.
It's just beautiful samplers.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of hers stashed away.
I do too. A few million.
A few million. I know. I've decided. Oh, cute.
I think that's of female worth, if I remember correctly.
Oh, she had the nicest designs.
I like that one too.
Yeah. And that was kind of back before monochromatic was super popular. You know, now it's
Sure.
really popular. And so relaxing to not have to change color.
Yep.
I think I started this.
I couldn't tell you the name of this or who
Yeah.
designed it, but it was in an old issue of SA&Q, and if you saw, you wouldn't recognize it because I changed all the colors.
You changed all the colors.
Yeah.
Oh. I have a sampler I started and it's so bright, it's like an Easter egg. And now I'm having a hard time going back to it and I don't know what to do. Like whether to just start over.
I know. Well,
Or-
that's I'm kind of like, well, you like pink. I really don't like
You don't like pink?
No.
Well, this is so bright. It's really like an Easter egg and I have a hard time working on it.
But you can give me
start
something
over.
with red in it all
Yes.
day.
Yes, me too. And this is Anne Rayner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even all these years later, this is still such a popular. Wow. That's beautiful. Elizabeth Haxton? I don't think I've ever seen that. Look at those flowers. Wow.
I think might be another female worth for some reason, but oh man, I don't know. I should have written on the back. I'm not very good about
Yeah.
keeping a diary or a journal about what I've stitched.
Me neither. I should. We all should. Oh, what's this one?
That is the ES spot sampler. I don't know who that's by, but I do know it is the ES spot sampler.
Wow.
That was fun. It was all nice, lots of color.
Oh, this is another Brenda Keys.
Yes, I think that one's called Plymouth Sampler.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right. And then, oh, this is sweet.
Isn't that
Isabella
Bracken?
Bracken. Do you sometimes do your own name in it and, you know, to personalize it if you're feeling it, or
No.
do you always stay true?
No, I pretty much just respect the original stitcher. Actually, the funny thing about Isabel Bracken, I showed that on my blog that I had years ago, and I got an email from one of her distant relatives. It was like a grandson or whatever, and he wanted to buy the sampler from me. And at the time, I thought, oh, there's just no way, you know, he's going to pay all the out, you know. And I didn't want to part with it anyway. Now I feel kind of bad. So if you're out there,
Yeah.
Mr. Bracken, call me.
Call me.
I
Maybe
need
I'll
more
share.
room.
Right, my wall's full.
That's right.
Oh, this is sweet.
That is, if I had $1 for every time anybody has ever emailed me asking me about a chart or something that they've seen that I've stitched, this is the one. This is by Good Housewife, and it's Elizabeth Easton.
Oh, what's this one? This is like famous.
Oh, you're asking me all
I
these
know, look, it's
questions.
Sarah Hartley. That's
Sarah
what it is.
Hartley.
It's Sarah Hartley. But
I know it's on 45 count. Sand dune, that's what I know, and that outfit's really teeny tiny.
That's amazing. Is it over 1?
Yes.
Yeah. When you start on 45 count, you're like, this will be nice, and then you get to the over 1 part, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
whoops. Oh, this is by Plum Street.
Uh-huh.
I love this design. Like a
That's
great
sweet.
anniversary sampler.
Yeah. And another
Brenda Keys.
Brenda Keys. Yeah, I'm slightly obsessed with Brenda Keys.
Oh, wow. Here, I'm going to just go back and take a picture of this wall. Oh. Wow. These are life goals. This is a life goal, to have a wall like this. It might be 100, but...
Well, I have one spot left. It's kind
You
of
do? Where?
It's kind of like right here. So that's it. Otherwise, they'll have to go to the floor.
Okay, everybody, here's where the magic happens. This is Tanya's Design Studio. Say hi, Tanya.
Hi, everybody.
And we're gonna go around the walls and chat about all this lusciousness on the wall.
Vinny wants to say hi.
And Finnegan wants to say hi.
Say hi.
Hi, Finnegan.
He
He
says-
says hi, Mommy.
For my mama.
He's so cute. Okay, let's start. Now, all of these are, some you've reproduced and some you haven't, right?
Yes, it's about half and half. I'm slowly getting to all of them, but
Yeah.
hopefully I will.
So this one in the corner with the horses and the yellow house.
That is Mary Miller. That is actually an American sampler, and she was born in, or lived in the Courtright, New York area. I believe that she was 12 years old, and the sampler, I believe, was stitched in 1842.
Okay, just let me stop for a minute. Look at these hooks. So those are all like samples of weeks dye works.
Yes.
For when you're doing designing and
Yes.
projects and finishing. And Princess Floss.
This is the silk side.
This is the silk. Oh my gosh, I'm hyperventilating.
Oh my
This is
God.
so beautiful. Look at all. So these are the Belsois.
Yes.
Oh,
And it
And the
goes
Gloriana.
down to the Gloriana.
I love Gloriana. And more Belsois.
And
Wait.
those are dinky dyes.
And dinky dyes. I am stitching right now with dinky dyes, and I'm really enjoying them.
The designer package. of all the bill swap. I mean, I think I almost attacked the mailman because I knew they were coming, and I just opened that box and they were all there, and I just went, oh, all these silks, I can't handle it, all these colors.
All this color, all this goodness. So this is Jane.
Yes,
Jane Brown. You haven't reproduced her yet.
No, I have not.
So what does it take for you to decide, this I'm going to reproduce?
Total whim.
Really?
It's just,
Whatever
I
hits
try
you.
to kind of do them somewhat in an order. If they've been, like, you know, around for a while, I think I better get to these. But it's really just whatever kind of speaks to me at the moment. That's, you know, just whatever I guess I'm in the mood to actually do.
I love this Margaret Lily box.
Thank you.
And those are handmade one-of-a-kind boxes. I mean,
Yes.
they're handmade
From,
as a what is the word I'm looking for? Like on demand
yes, from
Yes.
Valley House Primitives.
from Valley House.
Mhm.
They do a beautiful job. Oh, and the hoops,
The hoops.
they're hard to find.
The obsession.
The obsession with
many.
the hoops. Do you stitch with the hoops?
I
with
do.
these?
I do. I only use the 4s and occasionally a 5. The 6 and the 7s, I just, you know,
Yeah.
have them because I have the original stand that used to be
Wow.
in the display in the not grocery store, but in the
Mhm.
mercantile or whatever.
Right.
So it's, it's pretty.
Cute.
But
Oh, this is so pretty right here.
this is one of my favorite samplers that I haven't done yet. I'm just obsessed with this
Yes.
motif, and actually I have an idea to use that motif for a market design. I think I'm going to
Yeah.
need to put it on a
A Lee Hayes box.
box like that.
Oh, yes.
So I think that would be
Yeah.
smashing on that.
That's very beautiful. And that's what's nice, some of these really intricate samplers, you can just take a bits and pieces and make fun, you know,
Sure.
and make really fun. Okay, I'm obsessed with this house.
Yeah. It's,
Cause, wow.
it's sweet, and look at the little. I'm not sure what they are, but the little critters at the bottom.
Oh, they look like grasshoppers.
Yeah, they're cool.
With their antennas sticking out. I'd rather stitch them than look at them in real life.
Yeah, I just love everything about this sampler. The little bunnies or dogs or whatever they are running
Yeah.
across the yard, and
So cute. Wow. Wow, that is really, really pretty. And I feel like Mary Pellings, you've
Yes,
you've
I have.
reproduced this.
Mhm.
This is available.
yeah.
I love seeing the antiques. I can see why you fell in love with
Well,
them.
that particular antique is really I mean, look at the colors.
Yeah.
They're still really vibrant, and I don't know. I just like the composition of it.
Uh-huh.
There's certain motifs that I'm really drawn to, like the diamond patterns. I really
Uh-huh.
like. I thought the leaf was pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
And, I don't know. I bought it unframed, and then of course our favorite framer. framed
Yes,
it for me.
Sandy at the
Mhm.
attic. She has such a gift for seeing what needs to be done and how it will like give the sampler its own personality.
I don't frame I have a huge
Stash.
container of unframed samplers, and I don't frame every single thing, but only the ones that really want to place on the wall, I think.
Yeah. They talk to you a little bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you've done this.
Yes, Mary Lindley.
Mary Lindley. I was gonna call it Mary Bunce, but that's a Gigi chart. Yeah, Mary Lindley. Oh, that's so cute, that bird. And this was one of your first ones.
Yes, this was like the second sampler I did.
Yeah, I bought both of these when you first started designing. I bought this one and the other one with the red brick house.
I think
Crease.
I really bought this one just because of that little itty bitty tiny red alphabet. Can you see
right.
how small it is?
Is it a real one?
Yes.
You can tell I haven't stitched it yet. I just bought it. I love this one.
And that was originally stitched on a uneven weave. So my version of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I stitched it, must have been on, I want to say 40 count.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is more tall, but
Oh,
rectangular than
right.
this is kind of square.
Right.
So I was kind of surprised
When you stitched it, you're like, what? What
Ooh.
happened here? And Mary Anna Louisa Boston, she's still a really popular chart. And look how beautiful she is. If these ladies and girls only knew how much we would love their work all these hundreds of years later.
I know, I often think about that. What would they think if,
Yeah.
they could,
If they knew.
that we're walking around taking pictures of it. This one right here, I'm actually in the process of reproducing. I have it about halfway through.
Wow.
That's just the way I've always stitched. I'm right-handed, so I think
Wow.
start on the right side and move my way left and
Right.
move my way up.
And usually all the fun is at the bottom. That's where the house is and the people and the
Well,
dogs and all that stuff is.
If there's like an over one verse, I
Yes.
make myself get to a place where I'm going to work on that
Yeah.
and not leave it to the last. And the same way with the border. I'm not a border person. I get bored with the borders
Right.
pretty easily, so I'll do the border as I go and then kind of, treat myself to one of the pretty motifs.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, this little girl had a pretty
So
wild sense of color. Look at the people
I know.
really close. The little guy has an orange
Oh
face.
yeah, his little orange face. It matches her dress.
And the pink dog.
And the little girl with her little blue legs. Is that probably a daughter, maybe you think?
I
do you
think it's a
like-
man.
Oh, you think it's a man?
Yeah, I think it's a man.
Oh yeah, because
I
he
think
has a
it's
shovel.
Yeah. And that's the first time I've ever seen a shovel on a sampler.
Oh wow, and you have this one, like, you're working on it.
I do.
Woohoo! I'm putting in my order. That is super cute. And this is Rachel Howe's.
Yes, this is my very favorite antique. It really is. There's no
First favorite and second favorite.
This is my favorite one.
She's really big in real life.
I call her a full-bodied sampler.
A full body sampler, like a wine. She's like a fine wine. Okay. Wow. And this is still a really popular sampler.
Which one is that?
Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
People love her. And then,
It just amazes me. This is a Welsh sampler, and it made its way over to an antique shop in Wisconsin, and now it hangs on my wall in Arizona.
Wow.
It's amazing to me how this
Wow.
stuff travels. Both of those have not been reproduced.
look at that red alphabet.
And it's sort of your name.
Caroline. Yeah, I'll take it. Because that's the British and French
Sure.
spelling. Oh, that's really cute. I love all your little, like, cuteness just laying around. Catherine Croft.
Yes, this is a sweet little sampler. Not everything has to be framed. I sometimes just like to
Mhm.
display samplers just to enjoy them
Mhm.
while I'm, getting ready to reproduce them.
Oh my gosh, what's this? This
That's
is seven sheep.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
You should like this. It has lots of pink.
Yes, it does. The reproduction does. The reproduction's at the attic. And this is, I know I have this, and I bought a piece of fabric for it. I just need to get my act together. Oh, that's really pretty.
More pink.
Oh, you haven't reproduced her.
No, I haven't.
But I would take red. Like, if you're not nuts about the pink, you can pick your red.
She's kind of on the short list.
I love that the border changes. Like you have three sides
Yes.
the same, and then
It's
at the bottom
different.
it's different.
I like a 3-sided border too. I
Uh-huh.
think it's cool.
And the motifs are not exactly the same from side to side. You know, like you
it's
have
definitely
different
not,
trees. And,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Miss Mary Ann Farmer.
Mhm.
She's beautiful. And she's still really you know, I think that samplers stand the test of time.
Well, that sampler kind of has a funny story. Our air conditioner went out in June,
Ugh.
the year I was reproducing her, and so it was like 180 degrees,
Ugh.
and we actually we had to wait like 2 weeks, and our garage was air conditioned because my husband used to do a lot of computer work, so I just took my recliner out to the garage. And I set up my table and computer and everything, and I sat and stitched her in the garage for like 2 weeks.
Oh.
So that's my story.
Did you sleep in the garage too? Like how
I
did you
tried, but it
manage
just didn't.
the night?
It wasn't comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, this is beautiful.
That's a fairly new one. I don't know. It's just so different. It's nothing like any of my other samplers. I like there again. Look at the weird little slugs or whatever they are at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
And I
Looks like they have wings. Do they have wings?
I love those rose motifs. I think those are
Yes.
fabulous.
And the tree. I love when the trees are a little different from normal. And what are those grapes?
I think they're blackberries.
Oh yeah, you're right. They are blackberries. And the roses. Look at all the roses.
Now like I said, I don't love to stitch borders, but that's such a different border with motifs as your
Yes.
border.
Yes, so it doesn't feel like a border.
Mm-mm.
It just feels like motifs.
Oh, you probably can't see that
Oh,
very
let's
well.
see.
Should I shut
Oh,
this?
Miss Marianne Rowe. She's so sweet.
She's definitely a favorite too. I want my waist to look like hers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that's back when they wore corsets.
Yes.
Yeah, and you charted her for Belsois silk. So
I did.
she's already in
The
Princess
color,
Floss.
yeah, I love the colors because they're so vibrant, and I was
Yes.
able to almost get identical Belsois, and the teal
Wow.
and the pink, and
Yes.
so the reproduction is really accurate.
Oh, Mary Bechtel, I love her. That's the antique?
Yes, isn't that
Wow,
pretty?
it's so vibrant.
Yeah,
Yes, I love this one.
I did take a liberty with that one. The flowers at the top, the two on the very top on the right, I changed the flowers to red because it just, I don't know, I guess I could, and
Yeah.
I wanted to, and so that's what I did. But the overall sampler is still as vibrant.
Yes.
It must have been hidden away for a lot of
Right.
years.
Rolled
But it's
up and in
stitched
the
on
trunk.
really, really super fine, kind of like almost like a gauze. If you can get up there close, it's really, really pretty,
See.
fine. So the colors are real vibrant.
Wow. Yeah, the reds. Look how the reds just stand out.
And that's Susan Wasband. I think I was drawn to
she's
the
so
motifs
really-
across the top when I
Yeah.
got that.
You reproduced her.
I have.
Yeah, the butterflies looks like maybe above the flowers.
Yeah, upside down.
Upside down. They're
They're
eating.
feeding.
Yeah, they're eating.
The
Oh, Anne Long.
Yeah,
I
Anne Long.
love Anne Long.
I share a birthday with Anne Long.
Really?
Yes, March 17th.
So that's why. So she was special. I love the bench and the little fence and the house and the verse.
I counted the trees when I reproduced her, and I can't remember
Yes.
now, but I want to say there's like 43 or something like that. There's
Oh,
a lot of little trees.
There's a lot of trees. That's a forest. It's a little forest.
Now that sampler has
Oh.
not been reproduced, but in my opinion, it's my oldest sampler. It's from 1755.
Oh, there we go. I got rid of the glare.
Let me shut the window.
No, I got it.
It's from 1755, and her name, in my opinion, is the most perfect sampler name ever. It's Philadelphia Vine.
Oh, wow. That is, wow.
So I'm not usually drawn to band samplers as much as
Right.
like pictorial or
Uh-huh.
pastoral, I guess you're
It's
I
all
would
the
say.
red.
Well, it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. The fact that it survived, you know, all
Yes.
these years, and there's certain elements to it that I just think are really, really pretty.
It's very pretty. You know that your email is going to blow up after people see all these wonderful samplers that haven't been reproduced just yet.
Well, it all
Sarah.
takes time on one
I
person.
know, right? Right? It does take time.
And like I told my husband, the dogs don't have thumbs, so they can't help
They
me.
can't help you. This is Sarah with
Sarah Hopwood.
And I love the realistically looking dogs. You know? Like they look like they're walking in like a little doggy family.
Well, I've had some people say that the one big dog is
Uh-huh.
like a sheep, but
Mm-mm.
I think it's more like one of those Irish wolfhounds. Or
Yes.
something like that.
Oh, this is Sarah Elizabeth Brooks. That's the
sampler
second one,
that
right?
started it all.
This is the one. This is the one.
Yeah.
I have this. I remember. You know how things stand out in your mind. You have memories, and I was at the attic, in the back room where we used to have that big table everybody stitched around,
Right.
and your samplers had just come out, and they were there where everybody could see them. And I just remember being so excited because I knew you from working there.
Mhm.
And I bought them thinking, I'm so happy she's designing because these are amazing.
Well, I often told people that the sampler was, the story behind it was the biggest lie I've ever told, unfortunately, because I wanted this sampler so bad, and I promised my husband that if he would just let me buy just this one, I would never ask for another sampler. That didn't quite work out.
Just one. I just
Just
want.
one.
Those
That
are
was
like
the one.
famous last words.
And obviously, if you know my logo, I took the house. I kind of
Yes.
shortened it a little bit, but then
Uh-huh.
I put the 3 dogs that we had at the time,
Yeah.
with Scarlet being on the top. That's my logo, which is hanging on the other
Right, I
side.
saw that. That's funny. So now when you're still buying samplers, is your husband like,
Oh, he doesn't.
he doesn't
No,
even
he's
say
not
anything
even in the
yet.
picture
Yeah, he's
anymore.
not.
This
So
is.
tell me about this one.
Well, this is, again, it's the Mary Miller sampler. I'm actually doing a stitch along. Well, I'm not doing it because I've already stitched it. But the Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin is hosting a stitch along that's going to be started, well, as soon as I can get the charts to them, hopefully within the next couple of weeks or so.
Mhm.
But they're offering, the chart will be exclusive through the Country Sampler for approximately a year. And my friend Brenda Zawecki is actually going to lead the stitch along.
Oh, I know Brenda.
And she will be encouraging people to finish this big house and all the other elements. It's a really sweet sampler. I only own a few American samplers
Yeah.
because they're a little bit harder to find
Mhm.
than ones
Well,
that come from
America's such a
England.
young country
Right.
compared to the other countries.
And
yeah.
I sometimes think, a lot of these little girls probably had to work.
Here, I could show
little
your
bit
face.
harder.
Say hi.
Hi. But I hope other people that are interested in American samplers will sign up and be encouraged to
Yeah.
stitch this one.
Well,
So-
and Brenda just started her own floss tube channel.
Yes.
Brenda
and the
cereal starter.
It's
Do you love that?
hilarious.
Yeah.
Hi, girls.
It's here, wave again. It's a really good channel.
Yeah,
So go
it's
check
fun.
out Brenda and the cereal starter and join her on the stitch along coming up.
Oh my gosh, you're showing my work area.
That's okay. We all want to see where the magic happens, right?
Yep.
Okay. Lucy.
Oh, that's a fairly new sampler.
Wow, isn't that
cute?
cute?
Lately I've become obsessed with small samplers.
I wonder why.
And
This was.
oh, that happened in 1999. I used
Oh, cute! Look at your
that's me.
picture on there.
I was on the season ticket for the Phoenix Coyotes with my dogs. I had season tickets for 6 years when they first came to the Valley.
Right.
And that photo was actually going to be on a Christmas card. It was just, I was trying to get the dogs situated and I wasn't going to be in it. It was just a coincidence that I had a Coyote sweatshirt on. And
the dogs too.
well, that was staged. I
Oh,
mean,
that was staged.
yeah, it was just going to be them in front of the Christmas tree for a Christmas card. Well, then the Coyotes had this contest, prove or show why you're a true fan.
Oh, right.
So the day before the contest ended, I sent it in and I won. There were several of, well, I got to be on one season ticket for that year. But I made them both newspapers and they interviewed me at that time because my whole office was decorated in Phoenix Coyote stuff, hockey stuff. Yeah, it was kind of funny. See, I'm multi-dimensional.
Look at you and your cute little doggy statues.
That's another obsession.
Mm-hmm. And then, oh, this was, you've
That's
done
Charlotte
this one.
Murdoch.
Yeah, Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so vibrant.
Yeah, it's just
So-
a sweet little sampler. And here's the saddest thing ever. If you look at this this handwritten note on the back, it says, worked by my aunt, Charlotte Murdoch, who died at age 14 years.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, so when I had it framed, I had to, include that on the back because that's such a important part of the history of the sampler.
Yes.
It's one of the Bostons. My granddaughter Olivia, who's really talented, she painted that for me. Oh my gosh, she's going to be 15 this month. And I think she might have been like 9 or 10 when she painted that. But
What a treasure. I
just
love that
it.
her background and her dogs, and she captured their little face and their
Yes,
That's a real treasure.
yes, I love that.
And she put you on grandma.
Yes.
Oh. Now this is the little black dog sampler
Yes, it is.
that you released at market.
Yes.
I
And
love all the red and green in it. That's more Scottish, yeah?
I believe so. Yeah, I think it is a Scottish sampler.
Oh, there we go. Well, girl, you got work to do.
I do.
And then this is the cabinet. What a fun cabinet this is.
That's my everything goes in there cabinet.
I love that.
A lot of it is filled with treasures and gifts. I've been so lucky to have met so many people, and and of course, when they know you love Bostons, you get gifts that are Bostons, like you can see in there, and it just brings me such joy to be able to these little like birds on blocks.
Oh, yeah.
These are just some little things that I like to do in this little box up here.
Yes.
There's some
And you
more
have one of those really pretty carrier boxes.
Oh,
that
are you
you
talking
covered?
about? Yeah.
Yeah, the sewing
yeah,
box.
we should talk about those.
Yeah. So here we are with the train cases. Tell me about these.
Well, these I cannot take credit for coming up with this idea, but Linda Danielson actually had one that I saw, and that she had made, and so I decided, of course, I had to make one too. And so all it is you just find the old vintage train cases from like the early 1900s, I guess they are 1940s, probably 50s.
Right.
And
Back when people rode trains.
right, and
got all dressed up.
just collect ephemera and come up with the pictures and the photos and things you want to put on it, and then you just go to town in my case, a glass or two of wine, some Mod Podge, and just
go to town.
Go to town. And it's just basically layering your scrapbook paper and your ephemera on top of each other.
I love how you put your samplers in there too.
Of course.
Yeah, I love that. And your logo.
Yep, got the logo, and got the little Boston Terrier and my initials.
I love it.
And then on the inside, kind of a mess.
Oh, it's all fancy and on the inside too?
It's pretty fancy.
Oh, it's the eat. There we go.
It's like kind of a mess.
Okay.
But
So is that paper too and then fabric
no,
up
this
here?
is fabric, and
Oh,
then there's
so cute.
fabric, actually.
There's those coveted galvanized trays.
Yes, there's.
You may not steal it.
No. I found this cute little case.
It's adorable.
Isn't that sweet? And so I did this one too, of course, but it's just a fun little, thing
So your
to carry around.
your little tchotchke on the. Did you make that or did
I
you find
did.
that
It's
somewhere?
just, well, obviously
really
you've
cute.
seen this before. I'm
Yes.
a sampler lover. These little things I found at Michael's. They're just little jewelry making things, and just put them on a jump ring, and some
There you go.
initials
You're up
and
running.
stuff.
Super cute.
Fun stuff. This is a fairly new sampler. I think her name is Ann Bird. Yeah, Ann Bird. And I just love this house with the border.
Wow, I love the border. The red border. You don't see red borders. Like you see lots
Not
of
too
green
long, no.
borders and some.
Well, this is I think this is a great sampler. Unfortunately, it's faded, but in my mind's eye, I can see it already reproduced, and I think I'm more excited about bringing it back to life than I am about how it looks right now.
Right.
But I love this motif. I don't know.
Wait,
I
which
just
one?
sort
Yes.
this one right here,
Yeah.
and I mean they're all.
Yeah, and look at that big vase of flowers.
Yes.
And the bird on the flowers. And the house. I love it when things are disproportionate. Like you have the little house over here, but then the vase is.
I like that too.
gigantic.
It's real. It
Yeah.
kind of gives it a folky
I love that.
ness to it.
When it's not all proportionate and perfect. I love things a little imperfect. Because I think it shows like the whimsy of the girls who stitched them. You know, like I wonder if they had patterns or they just had a big piece of linen and they were putting in what they enjoyed. Just look at the birds. Look how the vine goes over the house.
I know, isn't that cool? I
Oh,
like that
yeah.
too. Yeah, I think that was one of the things that really drew me to that.
Yes, because
That
that
was
could be
different.
its own little design right there. Like this has so many. Ooh, get busy. Danny has a lot of work to do. Oh, you haven't charted this one.
No, lately
So
I've
cute.
started collecting black stamplers that were stitched in black. I don't know why. I go from one obsession to the next, but
Hi everyone. I hope you've really enjoyed the tour that we've been doing of Tanya's workspace, her antique. If you look behind us, we're sitting in front of the antique wall, which is, I'm so inspired. I just want to go home and stitch and clean because Tanya has a beautiful home. It's beautiful.
Just go home and stitch.
No,
Forget about cleaning.
Go home and clean. At least be able to see my countertop.
Cleaning is so overrated.
I know, right? Oh, this has been a great day. So we're just gonna chat a little bit about life and stuff.
Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice, everything. Tanya's we're recharging with pumpkin spice coffee.
Yes.
To keep us going. So we talked a little bit before about when you first got started as a designer. Have people heard that story?
Probably, but I guess it bears repeating.
Yeah.
I started designing just because I've always been a stitcher, and I designed a couple little fobs for myself, and I had a couple friends say, "Oh, I want one of those. You need to design." I'm like, me design? I don't know.
Right.
But then just, I guess I got tired of the corporate grind of my regular job. So I just came home one day and told my husband I want to try designing. And he's like, "Well, do you think anybody will buy anything?" I'm like, "I hope so." So I just came up with an idea for two little designs. The first one was coverlet birds.
Yes.
And
Still really popular. I didn't know that was your first design.
it was my very first design.
Oh.
And then Death by Candy Corn was my second design. And I remember, showing them Jean, and I think she bought like 3 of each, and I'm like, woohoo, I'm on my way. But I don't know, this is the honest truth. I think I really started designing because there were things that I wanted to stitch that weren't out there. So I kind of designed for myself things that I want to stitch, and it's like secondary of anybody else buys them or stitches
I've
them.
heard that from other designers that say,
So-
I design for me, and then once I publish it, I let it go, and the world just loves it,
I mean, it's like this new release that I have, which is called Hello Fall with the plaid.
Yes.
I really
Yes.
wanted that for my kitchen because I'm kind of into the farmhouse decorating style. And so the idea came to me, and I thought, well, what do I care if, I don't release it. I'm just going
Right.
to design it for myself.
Right.
And then I thought, well, I'll just see if, test the waters. And
And it's been really popular.
well, it's very easy to sit and just stitch that kind of square after square. It's you don't really have to think that much. You can watch TV or sports or whatever, which is how I stitch. And you don't just you don't have to be that into it. I guess you can just stitch.
Right.
Row after
You don't
row.
have to concentrate so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
The
no thinking.
And buffalo plaid is everywhere. Like the plaid is everywhere. You go to Hobby Lobby and you're looking at all the Christmas and fall decorations are all centered around this buffalo check.
Right.
And so that makes it really fun to have a stitching that is coordinating with what we're seeing at the Hobby Lobby. When you sit down, and I'm talking about your original designs, things
Okay.
that are just for you, like you said, the Hello Fall. And you've done some of my favorite original designs are yours, like In Good Company.
Oh.
I love it so much. I bought it twice. I love
Thank
that
you.
one. Yes. And so when you are sitting down to do like original design, do you have a picture in your head or a story that you're trying to tell?
Mostly, I think a story. I walk the dogs every morning, the 2 boys, and I make up little verses, and that one was how that came about. I made up the verse, she lives, gosh, I can't even remember how
On a
it goes.
hill overlooking the sea.
With only,
Right.
with only our dogs for good company.
Right.
That really, I went home, or I made it up in my head, and then I went home and I told my husband, he's like, well, that's certainly you, because if you know me, you know that I would live at the ocean all day long. That's where, I feel like I need to be. And I'm with my dogs all the time. They're, my best company. So that's kind of how it generally starts with a verse. Same as A Perfect World. No.
Oh, right.
That was an idea that I had the verse in my head for several years before I actually, knew it was time to put it on,
Right.
make it into a design. So,
Right.
And that was just, I don't know, I guess I was feeling kind of sad one day or something when I thought of that verse, because it was just like, in my perfect world, this is how I would picture myself being, just with my dogs and the deer and the flowers and no outside noise and stress and whatever. So that's how that came about for last year.
Does it surprise you when a sampler just takes off, like creates a life of its own.
With that one, yes, because I sold out of that design within 15 minutes on Friday night.
Wow. Oh,
With
at
600
market.
charts.
Yes.
Yeah, it was out the door. But that's what happens when you have social media.
Right.
You see them ahead of time,
Mhm.
and people have already called their shops and have already
Mhm.
ordered it. And then naturally, I had to come home and I had to print more. And I'm still, in fact, I just shipped that chart to Hoffman this week
Wow.
again. So it's just continuing to sell.
Right.
which
I
is
think it
nice.
resonates with people because our world is so fast and busy, and I'm not sure, like, we're either in our car, going somewhere, picking up something, working on something. It's just, our world is constant, and that verse is like, oh, yeah, that'd
Well,
be my perfect place.
I've often said, I'm kind of repeating myself because I've said this
Uh-huh.
before, but that I'd like to live inside one of my samplers
Yeah.
or a sampler because it just seems so calm and it's that
Right.
feeling that samplers evoke. You just
Uh-huh.
you want to live that
Right.
that way. But yes, what's been great about A Perfect World is the fact that I've received so many nice compliments from people, and people have taken the time to chart their own dogs and cats even in that particular
Right.
sampler.
Right.
And I just love that when they make it their own and
Yes.
change it to personalize it for them.
Mhm.
And I don't know, that's just, I'm all about that. Make it your own all the
Mhm.
time. I tell people that online all the time.
Yeah.
That pleases me when people feel like they have the courage to.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly have my permission.
Right,
to
right.
do it.
When you're shopping for antiques online, like you said, you told your husband, I just only need this one antique, and then I'll never
Yeah, I
ask
better
for
have a
it."
drink with that lie.
Well, could you probably at the time that was your truth? You're like,
It was
oh,
the truth.
yeah, that's the truth.
So-
You didn't know. You didn't. It's like, oh, this is it. This is all I never need to be complete, and then.
I never, in my wildest imagination, thought that I would ever have a room with all these samplers. I mean, I kind of feel like a, I don't know, like the guardian or
Yeah.
something of all these girls, and I really, I don't know, it's a big responsibility in a way to
Mhm.
honor them and to treasure these works because they've just been around and they meant something to somebody at one point in time, and
Mhm.
just like all of our needlework does today,
Mhm.
and you just, I mean, I don't even want to think about what's going to happen to them when I'm not around, but for now,
Somebody
they're
will
loved
love
and
them.
treasured
Mhm.
and respected, and I
Mhm.
don't know, it's just important to surround yourself with the
Yeah.
things that you love. I think that's the big part. I think for me, the thing that I get, probably that excites me the most with the samplers is the
Mhm.
fact that looking at the dates, I'm amazed at what was going on in the world at the time these were being stitched.
Right.
Like Philadelphia Vine was stitched in 1755. Well, that's 10 years before,
Oh,
or no.
wow, before the war.
20 years before, 1776.
Yeah.
I have to do, math was not my strong point.
Me either.
But, I mean, that's before the Revolutionary
Yeah.
War. And that just blows my
Wow.
mind, the fact that I own something that was
Mhm.
stitched by a little girl,
Mhm.
while that was going on, or before that was going on. I
Right.
should-
Well,
The bottom line is we all love samplers, and
Yes.
so that's our bond, and we all love what we
Yeah.
do, so it's great fun to get together and share that with other people for sure.
well, and I think it's what a blessing we have the attic
Mm-hmm.
in our backyard. Jean has been
Most definitely.
such a fabulous ambassador.
Right.
She's been the ambassador of samplers and sampler making, and all of you girls have just, it's like come
Well,
together
it
over
is the
this love.
sampler
And she's,
mecca,
yes,
for
it
sure.
is. I
And-
remember the first time I saw the attic was way long time ago. They were by the movie theaters. It was their very first location. It was in the 80s.
Oh, that must have been
Yeah.
before I moved here.
Yeah. And it was closed, and we'd just gotten out of a movie, and I was like,
Open, open, open.
the next
Yeah.
day, as soon as Jeff got home from work, I got in the car and drove down there.
Yeah.
Like, what is this place? So.
Oh, I
it's
know.
nice.
I think I thought I died and went to heaven the first time I walked into a needlework shop and saw the
Yeah.
samplers like the attic
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's really fun. So, what's on your workstation?
Right now, I'm trying to finish up that Isabella Jackson that's above.
Yes, right. Can you,
you can't
see?
see it.
Oh, all right. I'll put a picture.
And I'm working on a super secret project with Beth Twist from Heartstring Samplery. We collaborated on a sampler. Actually, we designed most of it in the air on the way home from Nashville.
Wow.
In the airplane, we sat by each other and we used like napkins and what scraps of paper we could have, and we kind of
Wow.
drew it out.
I love that.
And she's finished her portion of it, and I'm about 3/4 of the way done with mine. But it's really fun.
And
a
it'll
fun
come
stitch.
together and be one piece?
We haven't worked everything out yet, but yes, they're two separate pieces on two separate colors of linen that
Oh, cool.
from the same linen company, so they're not going to be weird. You know.
Right.
But in slightly different colors,
Okay.
just enough to see the
Right,
difference.
right.
And then the samplers will be seamed together to make one large sampler.
I've
not
seen
large,
that. I
but-
mean, I've seen pictures of
Mhm.
that, but
Yeah, and it all ties in together. I will show you a sampler that I'm going
Ooh,
to,
Yay.
but it's on Margaret Mossop that is on my market list. I've wanted to do this for a very long time. I don't know if you can see it.
Here, let me just
Take
hold
it
her
in.
closer. Look at that rose in the middle.
I like the wren, the bird, and what really caught my eye was the bird on the side of the house, if you can see it close.
Okay. Oh, the bird in the house.
Uh-huh.
On top of the little flowers. Look at that border.
I know,
Holy
turn it around
cow.
so they can see the back
Oh
colors.
my goodness. Look, those are plum. Well,
Yes.
is that just my eyes? But these are like kind of plummy looking. Oh.
I have good intentions about getting that done, but now that I sit here and look at it, I'm thinking, okay, that's going to be one day for each flower.
You mean the
better start
stitching?
like tomorrow.
Wow.
That's kind of like
She is
Rachel Howells. Those flowers are labor
beautiful.
intensive.
Right. She is. Look at the colors, the blues, the purples, and the peaches, and the greens. Oh, you know this is. I'm gonna put this in Princess Lost, right?
Oh, for sure.
You know
Well,
that.
may
You
not
probably
even
won't,
have-
but
no, I will.
Will you?
I'll probably stitch this one in silk.
yeah.
I generally do that with the reproductions
With the-
because, well,
Yeah.
just because.
Because they
Because we
deserve
can.
it. Wow. I love that. So are you gonna do from the back or the front?
What
What do you think?
I'm kind of somewhere in the middle kind
Whatever
of girl.
speaks to you.
Right. I don't know. It will definitely look brighter than the front because it's faded quite a
Yeah.
bit. And I do try to stick close to the
Mhm.
original.
But you have
Colors.
such gorgeous colors back here.
Right. I think
I mean,
that's one of my favorite.
That
Plummy
plummy,
color.
purpley
Mhm.
flowers
Yeah. that'll
are
be pretty.
amazing.
And with
And the
red.
blue
Yes.
and the red. I love the verse. It says, "Teach me to fill another's woe, to hide the fault I see. That mercy I to others show, that mercy show to me." I love
That's
that
nice. I
verse.
like that too.
Margaret Hossop.
Mossop.
Mossop.
Margaret
it's an M.
Mossop.
Mossop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's beautiful. She was only 10.
I know.
That's what amazes me with these little girls. They were little girls. And the maturity of the design.
Well, doesn't it make you wonder, okay, were they just sitting there the whole time tapping their foot, just thinking, I hate this, I want to go, outside, or I want to, do anything but sit here stitching this stupid sampler. That's all we want to do, but it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
did they like it? Did they hate it? What were their thoughts while they were doing it?
And maybe it was an assignment. Like they were
Probably.
in school.
Right.
I learned how to play the piano as a young girl, and I had to practice. My mom was a concert pianist, and I hated the practicing. But once you learned it,
Yes.
you loved it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how it was the, like the tediousness sometimes of, 85 flowers. But then when it was done, they loved it.
Sure. Oh, I'm sure they were proud of the results.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so here is another one that is on my list. I'll let you hold it up. This is, gosh, I forgot her name. Jane Cowie.
Okay, here, let me take her closer. That's very gauzy linen.
It is.
Do you think it was gauzy when she stitched on it, or just over the years?
No, I believe that's probably
The gauziness was
mhm.
how it was. Wow. Look at all those flowers.
That's a pretty, I particularly like the bottom part,
Mm-hmm.
with the double houses and the butterflies and the bird. I just think it's really pretty. The cartouche is pretty.
The whole thing is amazing.
I have this one charted with the exception of about 4 lines of the verse, so. But I have a feeling that's going to take me a while.
Wow.
I do stitch all my own models.
That amazes me because you have some pretty, your pieces they're not little.
No,
No.
it amazes me too. Sometimes.
I mean,
It's
I'm
like-
so amazed by that.
I think I used to be a fairly fast stitcher. Now I'm getting old and I fall asleep.
Sorry.
It's not funny.
Wow. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. But it's like funny, not funny. Wow. And look at the vases. This
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is all the bands are
is
so beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
She was a teenager. Like she was.
That was fairly.
Maybe she was like a nice, like. Well, they didn't think about it. They didn't have TV, or devices, or screens.
That's true.
And
Or after school activities.
after school activities, they definitely didn't play sports.
Right.
No, that just was
Right.
like, that was not part of the plan. In
But
the
also
1800s.
think about it this way. A lot of these samplers were probably a one and done thing that they ever
Yeah.
did. It wasn't
Right.
like, okay, like us, we
Mhm.
stitch something, we can't wait to finish it, to move on to the next.
Right.
This is probably the only, I've seen some samplers that were obviously stitched by the same girl.
Right.
But I would guess that more than likely, they're just kind of like, okay, I did this one sampler.
Right.
This shows my skill with a needle, and I'm not ever doing it again.
Yes. Well, I heard where did I hear? On a podcast or somewhere. Maybe it was when Nicola Parkman gave a lecture at the attic about sampler history, and that the girls, this was hung in the home, and when men would come
The
to
suitors.
court, the
Right.
suitors would come, and this was kind of her, audition of whether or not she would be a good.
So I would
housekeeper,
say,
or that she
come
would
in
be
and see my
yes.
sample roll. Look what I have done.
right. So this was kind of her audition, and that that if it was neat and tidy and
Right.
and beautiful and had the side. I mean, all of those. The social mores were so different
Sure.
than they are now, but. Wow, age 13. I'll bet you this was like the only thing she ever stitched.
Yeah. I'm sure most of these were.
And it was
you know.
framed, you can tell.
Right.
And she probably told her mom, "That's it. Put it on the wall."
hang her up.
Hang her up.
Fly by the seat of my pants when it comes to what I decide to do next. But
You always bring it together really beautifully. No. I really say that in all sincerity because we were talking earlier about finding your voice, as a
the
designer.
cohesiveness, yeah,
And
right.
when I see Scarlet House samplers and charts and even your original designs, I can tell that's Tanya. That's
Thank
something that she would do, and I think
I just go with what I love.
Mhm.
And I think if you always choose to, I guess,
mhm.
design or whatever with what you love, that's all you can do. That's just kind of sets the
Right.
whole tone. And the joy hopefully comes
Mhm.
through. I mean, nobody wants to stitch something that's just an ugly,
No. Well, we
old
don't
design.
finish it.
Yeah.
We started and then we
Yeah.
don't finish it because it doesn't speak to us anymore. But and if you're always, whether you're a stitcher or a designer or even a shop owner, the passion for your hobby and for your craft, the passion comes through in what you do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, can you imagine what it
Mhm.
would be like to be working at a tire store?
No.
Or
No, I would never do
muffler
it.
shop?
No, I don't even go in there. I said
know.
my husband,
like,
no,
oh.
I'm not going. They smell weird.
Or a
Or
hard-
Walmart. I don't even like to go to
hardware
Walmart. It
store.
smells weird.
I hate
Yeah.
to go to the
Mm-hmm.
hardware store. It's like
That's
going
true.
to a
Yeah.
foreign country.
That's
Or,
true.
It's like my husband knows what all these little
Uh-huh.
nuts and bolts and all these different little things, and I'm like,
Yes.
God, let's just go to
Right.
the attic.
It smells weird.
Yeah.
It smells weird. Take me to the attic.
Yeah.
I want to shop.
Yeah.
I want to do something that feels good to me. Even when I walk into the attic to work, I just get happy. It feels good. It's just like, oh, this is my place.
I know that feeling.
This is my place.
Because when I get up in the morning and I come in here and turn the lights on, it's just I don't know. It's a feeling you can't describe. It's just like somebody's just wrapping their arms around you, and this is just my spot. Like that design, this is my happy place.
Yes.
Well, I designed that for this room with no intention of ever releasing that.
Mhm.
I just wanted to have it for this room because that's how I feel about when I'm in here.
Mhm.
Well, you don't see it.
I was gonna say, I
Not
think
here.
it's at the attic.
Yeah, it is. So,
Oh,
but that's just how I feel about being surrounded by the things that I love.
Tanya, thank you so much.
Thank you,
For
Karen.
letting me come and for letting me be a part. I'm going to take additional pictures so I can insert, because this has been a feast for your eyes, a feast for my spirit, and my soul is just really filled up.
Well, I
Thank
appreciate you
so much.
asking me. It's been my pleasure to show you
Yeah.
around, and I love sharing my samplers with
Yes.
others. And I mean, I've had lots of people come through the doors to look at things, and it's just such a joy to share that, bond with other people
Right.
that appreciate what you do, because there's many people that come into our house, from family and friends that are
Mhm.
not stitchers, and I'm like, come look at my room, and they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, but look, it's like they just, they just don't get it. And
Yeah.
and that's okay, because the people that do get it, that's what makes it all worthwhile. So
Mhm.
it's been my pleasure.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and being part of our chat today. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.